The Trump administration, the Trump administration has been caught it's official. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no definitive other proof than this. This is it. 10, 11 days after this guy gets back from China. This scammer that is doing all of these things for the Trump administration to manipulate things in their favor. This Russian proceeded to start nonstop spamming my information and taking out accounts in government things, U.S. government things, like newsletters, subscriptions to things. We're talking like Social Security Administration stuff. And again, if you remember, I warned all of you that this was because with me, they knew there was nothing. There wasn't the stuff this other person was trying to throw out there that doesn't matter and stuff like that. No. This was interference so that they could do this and, maybe, if anything, learn lots more data in the process. This is why at various times I have been very confusing about information. Downright, just said some just blatantly ridiculous things. And again, it's not usually going to be around stuff that we're talking about that has to do with, current events and stuff like that. I want to try to be as informative as I can, but I'm talking about personal information around other people and myself that would not have any business being out there, has nothing to do with anybody, and nobody has any business knowing about it or anything like that. Okay? Now, if I was a fool and I believed any of this shit, I would have came on here yelling about how, I swear to God, this is how it would have, if the PSYOP was working today, and this is what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to envelop myself in this for a reason. It's not, it's because I want to understand it so that, well, maybe I better not say. So, maybe I better not say. How do I phrase this? Give me a second. I want to properly phrase this. If if I believed in the psyop, and again, like I said, if I believed in this psyop, I would have came on here today fully prepared to start raging out again, as we know, sometimes has been happening, right? So and I want to point out again that we have a lot of views when that happens, right? Things seem crystal clear when it happens. So if I was a fool and I didn't know any better, I would have came on here today. And if the psyop was working, I would have came on here today and would have been raging out about the fact that I think Asmongold is leaking people's data for the sake of trying to cancel streamers that he doesn't agree with, that he thinks are stealing his views. If it was working, that's what I would have said today. Give me a sec. I'm going to get more coffee really quick. All right. My fault. Oh, so much better. I just need to heat it up. All right. So, the reason that I say this is because as I've said before, there are a lot of different factors on here. There's a Russian factor, there's a China factor, there's a North Korean factor. I said these things we know. The problem is now there's a U.S. factor because lately under Trump, the U.S. has sort of acted like these other nations. So this is where the Trump administration is selling your data. And no, I didn't come on here today to just say this stuff. I came on here today to show you something. So, about 10, 11 days after Trump gets back from this China trip, my email starts getting bombarded with these things I talked about in the beginning, where very clearly this scammer doing these things for the Trump administration that you've kind of seen here kind of go on a little bit with my data, being doxed, leaked, all this stuff, is blatantly happening. And they're not doing the normal things scammers normally do. Like, obviously, I don't necessarily want to sit here and go that route, because then that normalcy is perceived as being what they should then do. So, but I mean, if you're gonna, like, I've already stated that this is the history of Russians making mistakes. Like, the the point is, whenever we had somebody competent in charge, like, this is kind of how I think it would look. Like, it's just kind of obvious. And then, when you don't, they're just like, oh, it's fine. Just let them do that. Oh, we're going to make some money selling this data. Oh, big companies do it anyway. Okay. So it's framed that way, but it's not what we're talking about, obviously. So Right, all in a row. I get all these emails indicating this person is signing up again, like social security. But here, I'll show you. Like just right in a row, just all these. I mean, it is unbelievable. Now I removed one of the little sections from these for personal reasons, but I left everything on there. Everything else you can't. Like it's everything. You're so give me a second here. Where the heck did I where the heck? There it is. So here we go. From May 26th to the 27th. Look at this. Look at this. This isn't, none of this is me. I am not mass signing up for U.S. Customs and Border Protection media release update, U.S. Customs Border Protection newsroom update, Social Security Administration, Social Security Administration, Social Security Administration, Consensus Bureau, Centers for Medicare, EPA, Healthy, like not literally just non-stop. None of that is anything I did. Absolutely none of it. And that's just my spam folder. Yeah, that's just the spam folder. Yeah. That's just the spam folder. Now for the main the ones that got through. What did I just do? Time for the ones that just got through. OMG, this is insane. Look at this. And again, this is different, okay? I know it looks the same, right? This is different. And you can see all on the same day pretty much. And again, U.S. Fire Administration, Veterans Health, Veterans Affairs, EPA, Region, Social Security Administration, U.S. Coast Guard, California Governor's Office, again, U.S. Customs, U.S. Department of something, FEMA, like none of this was me. None of it. Absolutely none of it. So this is embarrassing, and this is why the Trump administration is showing how stupid that they are. This is what scammers actually do. They are so dumb to again, why? How do you not understand when you're this dumb? How do you not understand? That's what that deserves. When you're that dumb, and you just epically fail that bad at understanding that you can't let people cyber attack us, because then they're just gonna steal all the money and financially cripple us and then take over, you fucking retards. Okay? Damn it. Fucking Windows. God damn it. Now, listen. I know, confetti. We've had a lot of really good presidents and even ones that have made mistakes. But listen, when the courts in the past have said and ruled on things, even the most recent Republican in office, other than Trump, said we will respect the court's decision. This is word for word what he said. And that is what they pretty much always did, obviously, other than the one that we caught, and you know, obviously, and have had to you know, stepped down, left office, obviously, facing impeachment, possible impeachment, you know, and then had the audacity to obviously do that when there was a war going on. So, you know, you got to understand that what you know, this is unprecedented with Trump. It's not heard of before. You know, this orange guy, he's a facade. That's why he's orange. Yeah, if he can really trick that Spanish vote. But again, remember, it's always going to be the rich one he's going to fool, because he ain't fooling people that are struggling. They know. It, you know, that truthfully, that's what it is. He's trying not to look really white. If he looks really white, you're going to know exactly. You're going to know, like, you're going to just be like, "Oh, there's another racist white person." You're going to call it for what it is. But again, the orange makeup is for something. I mean, that's what I think. I think it pulls at those strings. You know, I mean, it makes his it makes his color slightly less than, you know, slightly, you know, like he's been in the sun. That guy doesn't go out in the sun. Yeah, I mean, like you can see you see a line, like, right, you know? I mean, it's gross. You know, I was reading something where somebody said that like he smells bad. Like you have to think about, like, sometimes where people make awkward faces or something when they get close to him. I think it's actually because he smells that bad. That's just what I've heard. So that's pretty interesting. And so, like, if it's that bad, consider the fact that, like, something's going on there. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's beyond, I think just, you know, everybody accepts that once you get to a certain age, I think it's actually your skin, right? That 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 so, like, I mean, I think some people understand that, but I think we're talking about beyond that, right? Yeah, it's because your skin is on the outside of you. What else would it be? You know, I mean, your skin is the thing that's, like, aging like crazy, that's right there on the outside of you. It's just not young anymore. Yep, you're a rotting. That's nice, isn't it? Oh man. Listen, if I didn't know any better, if I didn't know any better, that ridiculous shit they're doing with my email, if I didn't know any better, that's them trying to raise red flags and, you know, cause some sort of problem, you know, just by screwing with the automated systems. That's like blatantly what they're trying to do. And if I didn't know any better, I think that's ICE, where almost every one of these people that's getting picked up and nobody knows why, they're just doing shit like this, and it's just scam after scam after scam. I'm a fucking white dude born in this state. Like, my state knows that. Like, that's the point. My whole family is like, I think, like New England area, and like we're all from here, so like it's just the sort of thing where like I am so damn white, that's why they did this. Because nobody's gonna question it. So that should you know what I'm saying? Like, just, I'm not saying like treat a good old boy or anything like that like they're the bad guy. I'm saying, quite the opposite, actually. Like, there was a reason why this existed, and these assholes are taking advantage of it. This is why nobody knows who they can trust even in the system anymore. It's all scammers, man. And your president's a scammer too. You have to condemn things or cults follow you around. That's when it happened. When this fucking president was so stupid that he didn't condemn wasn't it the Charlottesville? There's been so many things when he didn't condemn basically any terror attacks on citizens. Again, it doesn't matter if it appears to be a citizen or not. That is a terrorist committing attacks on other citizens. These are citizens just trying to have a good time, and they got to worry about terror. That's the freaking point of identifying them as terrorists. So you can't, you have to condemn that when it happens. Otherwise, the cults follow you around and they go, oh, this guy won't condemn what we do. And he's the president. Holy shit. We can own him. It's not globalists. It's just people that want to burn shit down. They're not trying to take over. They just want to burn it down. As Alfred said, right? Some people just want to watch the world burn. Wasn't that Alfred? Yeah, that's absolutely true. If you don't understand that by now, you got some sort of extra special about you. Okay? I learned that shit in school. That was the point of me telling you the story of the kid that literally shoved the basketball into my face. You're supposed to, that was a real world first example of something you're supposed to kind of learn from and understand there's people like that. And then I told you that guy later is the guy that shot somebody in the face with a shotgun over some drugs. Okay? Okay? That's just somebody that wants to harm. Because it's funny. And steal and loot because it's funny. Not because of conquer. You know, I I want to keep this mainly about. That was a different sound. That's not supposed to. Oh, my fault. My fault. My fault. I gotta redo that. My fault. I'll redo that. Oh, let's confirm. Sorry, but I gotta confirm. Give me a sec here. And I may not be. You may want to hold off on the super chats for now. But I'll work on that. Not because of the alert. So I mean, like that's like, I mean, obviously it looks a little scammy, you know, that one. But you know, like that's the point. You know, I already pointed out like there were ways that you know, you and I would always use to kind of look at that stuff. And you know, that all they did was just you know, adjust those things. So it's going away. And you know, it's all because you don't have checks and balances. Again, you don't have that Obama that will stand for law and order. Yeah, I mean, there were times where he stuck up for the rights of the state over feds, and there were times where he stuck up for the feds over the state. Yeah, like if it I just think it's really sort of scammy when they're like putting the little sad face and stuff too, like they're trying to play at your feelings, you know. Yeah, it's like it's you know what I mean? Like who actually has like the ability to put money in there that would, you know, type something like that. That's if that's an adult. Well, that's pretty manipulative wording. I was just hoping to join the convo, sad face. Who are you? Obviously, we know Extreme Everything is a streamer, but like we are not that person. And I was giving you a chance there, but I mean, you're probably just the scammer, that's all. So the scammer, the Russian scammer, has like a ton of accounts. That's how they're able to do this. They have an impersonation account of me on YouTube already. It's literally just, you know, they just copy everything I do, repost it, halt my views to transfer them over there. You know, they have a whole ton of like spam accounts and stuff. They can sort of like things, show up and pretend to chat. So, you know, like obviously the dynamic was always to create a situation where I wasn't going to be able to tell whether it was him, you know, like whether it was him just talking to me or it was, you know, like actually somebody else, you know, like a scammer versus somebody else. Because I'm obviously not going to deal with, obviously, this is why I have the tone I do with pretty much everybody, because I'm just assuming pretty much everybody that tries to communicate with me is this asshole. Like that's just what I'm assuming, because, you know, most people aren't, they come in here, you know what I mean? And this is going to be very telling, so he's going to change it now. But again, most people don't sit there and try to communicate with the scammer or the streamer, sorry. And there's yet another one. Most people are gonna sit there and like just state things more generally about what you're talking about, or the stream or something, or maybe even themselves. But they usually don't sit there and spend lots of time like talking about the, like that's all they're doing and all they're focusing on. It's again, the person that's doing this is doxing personal, private, identifiable information in chats. Remember, they followed me into a certain other streamer's channel for the sake of doxing my name and my date of birth, and so that was literally like all this stuff with the email happened pretty much like right around that time, and and so like this is the point. This person is just trying to get as many people to scam that information as he can. And again, it's just a network of scammers all just sort of sharing and hanging out on YouTube silently, stealing. And or, again, like I said, he wants me to think that, and he's using his accounts to make you think that. But I think it's more than likely that it is that. And because notice he hits this laugh emoji right as I say that. So that's like that double entendre thing that we talked about. I'm very inclined to not believe, like again, that is so manipulative, and it's exactly what we see out of this, where it's not a normal amount, it's like spammed. You know what I mean? You just want to spend money, hate Trump as much as the next guy. Well, you can definitely spend money here, but again, I don't have any way of getting that money. And I think YouTube is trying to steal it. So until I can, I highly recommend you don't do that, because I'm not going to get it. Again, I've already guys, I've already said YouTube filled out my tax stuff wrong. And now they're forcing me to redo it when they could just. And this is kind of my point. I have not actually earned anything yet. I haven't taken anything. So all they have to do is fix it, and that's it. And then adjust. That's all they would have to do. But they're literally just be like, no, you can't. So yeah. It's a process. That's all. I'm dealing with it. But, also seeing the ridiculousness of this in my email. Obviously, we had to this was important. I do need to shit. Yeah. There's some things I have to do, but this was important. So, as you guys know. I mean, it come on, man. Like I don't even get it. Like, what do you like every day there's something new. Just like it's way worse than the first time, but sort of like the first time. And you don't even like I he's just dumb. Like, I mean, like, when are you gonna recognize that? Like, I don't even understand how you couldn't. Like, how do you not understand that he's just dumb at this point? Um, Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is a pretty scammer here. Because when I start seeing more likes on the actual super chats than I see on my own stream, I mean, like, this is the stuff that scammer was doing before. Where right when I blocked the guy and decided he was malicious, he was telling he was telling people, well, I was threatening to block him. I was blocking other people, and it was just his accounts, obviously. But he was like telling people, go subscribe to my channel in my chat that I was blocking. So like trying to make a statement in my chat and be seen being like a nice guy that's accepting people better than I am. It's so manipulative. That's what it was. But they were just his accounts. And it's literally all just made up. Just like these super chats that he's liking himself. You see how I said that and they shoot up to like 9 and 7. So like that's exactly what we're talking about. So I want to remind you guys that the scammer doing this is blatantly Russian, and we know that Trump is trying to get them here, trying to allow them to be here. He has already brought some here, probably unbeknownst to you. And you know, Obama was the one taking care of Russian scammers. So it makes sense that Trump and all these disgusting terrorists are attacking previous presidents like Obama. I mean, this is an unprecedented terror attack right on our system. I mean, it's just plain as day. I have no stock in the presidential, I'm not up for election. Why would I sit here and waste my time unless I gave a shit? It's actually stuff that, again, we've been following and I care about. I've told you guys that I've been paying attention literally since George W. He was the reason I started paying attention because he was so abhorrently bad as president that I just had to pay attention. I just decided, after the whole Iraq thing, I like just completely, like, that whole thing didn't make any sense at all, and I needed to pay attention after that. It's that simple. And so when you pay attention for long enough, you just know who the good presidents are, and you know who's full of shit. And that's what I saw every time. We've talked about this plenty of times, but just that, Obama was the the guy that beat the numbers every time and everybody loved him. And then at the same time, he did the job so well. And while there's never going to be a president that you're going to agree with everything on, because again, you're not the president, you need to understand that's pretty much the best you're going to get is that guy, because he had record economic job growth, and again, Trump came into office with all these benefits, all the environmental protection benefits, like all the solar stuff he worked on doing, all the nuclear program that he expanded, like just all these different things, the Iran nuclear deal, all these things that Trump came into office that he then proceeded to see. It's disruptive, as I'm talking about Obama, it's intentionally disruptive. So all these things that he then proceeded to come into office, sign executive order after executive order, getting rid of, and just completely nonsense bullshit lying about what these executive orders do. I mean, again, all Trump ever did was come in and abolish things like dumping the thing that prevents refineries from dumping oil waste into drinking water. So again, Trump signs that away and gets rid of that. So now they can just dump oil waste in waterways, drinking water, all that stuff. Just sort of just dump it right in the water. Why are we seeing confetti and then a like comes off right when I mention this? Because it's true. Because this is very condemning. All you have to do is look it up. I mean, it's literally that basic. All you got to do is look it up. He literally had a freaking deal in place that said Iran couldn't make nukes. And again, we always had this long standing sort of better deal than everybody else. He screwed us for the enemy, not the other way around. Trump has always been the Russian spy. Always. He has always been the Russian spy. Always. That's what he is. And I would severely question. You see it, right? How disruptive it is after I've already told the person not to do it. I've already specifically said not to continue the super chats, and they've continued them. So like you see what I'm talking about, where it's intentionally disruptive, and then they continue the super chats. So again, we're literally talking about a person that I literally just told you may not want to super chat because YouTube's gonna take it. None of that's going to me. And then again, they just keeps and I've already stated what I stated about that, and it just continues over and over. It's the same behavior that the scammer exhibits, and then you see this absolutely absurd laugh emoji. So that's if you see that right there, that's what we're talking about. So, like, I mean, like, come on, like, what are you trying to do? That's what I thought. Yep. See it? See the lies. So there's all these people in here, YouTube, and you're trying to claim that there's 51 views. That's what we're seeing. All these people, YouTube, 51 views. There's 21 in here right now. I told you. I mean, that's all they're doing. And then, I mean, again, you will literally see it disappear. You will literally see them just remove it. This is what I like. This is the point. This is why I would always sit there and I would say that, because I'd look over and I'd just see the fucking graph just start doing that. Like, how are you not going to say something about that? Like, this is the fucking point. This is how stupid this looks to me when I'm trying to, like, when, you know, I'm playing a game or something and I'm like, yeah, okay. Really? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Where, like, I look over and then I just see that little thing on the graph and I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Okay, YouTube. I mean, it's just literally non-stop. And it'll be non-stop. Just like that stream where the scammer, you know, thinks that I'm you know, going to sleep or something like that. That's why they love the sleep stream, because they know, because they label it as that. They, like, literally, that's why I did so many of those and took this, because they will literally scam it down to just one viewer and then like 1010, and you'll literally see the system try to recognize more as they come in, but it just gets scammed right down to 0 again. The second that a second viewer is ever counted, it just goes shoot. So you just see this graph, basically the entire stream, just a flat line, where there's a few times it spiked up really quick for half a second, then jolted right back down to 0. The second that it went back to 2, it was just, and then just a flat line, and then literally just the whole stream. And it's every single one of those that I do, where it's like those after hours or a sleep stream or something like that, where they know you might not necessarily be there. Or at least that's the thought anyway. That's what they think. So my point with you guys is that all this stuff happens, and YouTube is aware of all this. I showed you guys the emails where, you know, there was plenty of emails clearly where we emailed back and forth and they didn't do anything. Okay? So you guys know that's, you know, and then so my point with you guys is that I'm just anytime something that like this happens, I do what I can. But every little bit is a little bit more of information, and that's what they want. So, you know, just the more that my government and people don't do anything, it literally is blatantly obvious. So you see it now, right? You see it now, right? So we're going to go to this person's channel, and right when that happened, you see this? So that's somebody just trying to dox people's information. That's the scammer. That's literally just a scammer. So we're going to go to this scammer's channel here. So this is the person's channel here. Yep. So there it is. Like they literally now again lately they've been getting better at these scams, but again, they literally just made this account. So and then came in here to do that. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? There it is. So that should not be happening. That's literally just a scam, obviously. Again, it's literally this is the history of the views, and at no point did it jolt down to 12 all of a sudden. Yet there's they're sitting there removing that many views just to bring it back up. No, that's a scam. Again, those views are getting removed. There's a reason it's doing that. It's literally just taking them off. That's doing that because that scammer that came in here to dox that person in that hashtag. And again, that's the same person. Remember who I said that the scammer had as their real first, middle, and last name? Look at this. They're running interference. It's all just that. They're trying to distract you. Do you remember who I said this scammer had as their real first, middle, and last name on Steam 2 different times? They're just masquerading on Steam. Their whole Steam account is this person's real first, middle, and last name. Do you remember that when I told you this? Well, that's this person that they keep trying to say, free this person, free this person. They're literally just trying to dox this person's information and again cause identity theft and all kinds of problems. And again, it's literally just scams that the authorities aren't doing anything about. So this is the point, is you see the massive amount of times this happens. Look how many they're removing. Look at that. That's insane. Just like it was 9 before too. We saw it. We saw them. We saw it jump from that exact number before. Yeah, it was It was a difference of 9 before as well too. We saw that before. Why is it doing that? Difference of 9, huh? Just 9 at a time. Gee, I wonder. Because it's easier than typing a 10? Because you're lazy as fuck and it's all automated? Yep. And then there's the confetti. No. I mean, they literally are just like hitting that confetti as soon as I said that. So we know that's true. Confetti means it's probably true. And then the laugh emoji sort of just means that it's so true that they really don't want you to realize what I'm saying is true. Because if they use it too much, people realize they're just spamming it. It's literally that. It's that basic. People are that dumb. I swear to God. It really is that basic. And if you're in the CIA or anything, you should know that by now. You know that shit. That's basic stuff. Yeah. So I mean, like that's just psychoanalyzing. That's all that is. I just figure stuff out like this. I don't have anything in front of me. I'm literally looking at the same screen you guys are looking at. That's why I'm doing this. I'm showing you guys this. This is just stuff that, like, I know. Yeah, the feds under Trump are literally so dumb. And they're trying to pretend like they're not milking me for information because I'm literally smarter than anyone that'll work with them. I mean, it's literally so fucking true. Yeah, you know you're fucking around with my systems. You know you are. It's sort of like when these idiots used to run laugh emojis just because I, like had like saliva in my throat, needed to like swallow it or something. Do you remember that? Look at this. Almost I was like, look, it's working. He gulped. It's like, yep, yep, that, I don't just have a bunch of broken teeth and I don't do that literally all the fucking time or anything. Totally. 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 Yep, I don't also very blatantly always have a drink. So, that doesn't confirm this theory too or anything. Uh, 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 Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, what is this? Look at that. Look, there it is again. It's the same amount, 9. Exactly 9. 21 to 12. All right. Patriots versus Dolphins. Bottom of the 5th quarter. 21 to 12. Dan Marino looks left. He looks right. All right, that's enough. One can dream, right? I mean, 2 is great, but it's Dan Marino all day. What the Look at this. Dan Marino is why anybody likes the Dolphins, by the way. Yeah, because they've sucked for decades. Literally decades. They weren't good at all since he left. Just trying to dox information. And it's not even true. Fake information. Wow, look at that. So like that's what's called disinformation. Where again, not only are they interjecting a little bit of like slight misinformation there where it's to throw you off, but now it's also disinformation where it's literally intended to like disinform anybody that would try to, figure that out or anything like that. It is incredibly invasive and very telling of who's doing it, actually. This is the sort of thing, this is right up their alley. Like China, Russia, that sort of thing. They are working together too. It's important to remember that they are attacking any North Korean made, US made, Japanese made electronics. So basically everything. Basically everything. So remember when the US under the Trump administration banned every router? Well, that was actually stupid, because now all they're going to do is attack US routers, and it just narrows the window, so it made it easier for them. Yeah, it was actually really fucking stupid. So like this is just further proof that the Trump administration does not care about your data, because any expert that knows that situation should agree with that, because it's just the truth. That is all that is going to do. So here is better lying. They're trying to get this better at lying. You see how this is still jolting down now? Like it's been like 23 and now I'm seeing like jolts downward. I'm going to keep an eye on this spot. We're going to keep an eye on that spot. I think this is, based on what I was saying, this is the new way to adjust that, sort of have the actual concurrence jolt down slightly to adjust and make it look like they're moving with it instead of them just removing a whole chunk. I think that's what they're trying to do. And then right as I said that, about 4 different concurrents are shifted out, 2 back to 19, like you see there. So that is pretty interesting that it would shift down to the exact number that we're seeing, that we're talking about there, right when I would say that. So I think it's just really fascinating how many messages you see and stuff, like things in chat trying to dox me, keep, again, trying to claim to be people and stuff following me around. But really, obviously, are we trying to really claim that a bunch of people are actually trying to, like actually, so like the whole point is that it's very clear that, what we have here is we have an organized crime by, again, a scammer, which is just a shitload of accounts that, is just, again, following this around, doing all of these things, again, as you can see, where it's all exactly the same, and they're spamming the emojis right now, as I said what I said. So it's all these different things where this one scammer is tricking all of the automated systems, again, filling out all kinds of shit with my credentials because he found it out, flagging all kinds of things, and then seeing what information he can learn in the process. He's probably hoping that these people give him a call. He's going to give them his phone number. He's going to give them this and that. They're going to call him, and he's going to pretend to be me. And stuff like that. There's indicators in there that this person's doing this with various church organizations too. So that's very concerning. So I want to remind you that this is why the church is sort of not trustworthy. Your data should not be stored somewhere, and there shouldn't be a bunch of people collecting it for any reason whatsoever. Period. They shouldn't be doing that. These are fraud. This is fraud. The entire thing is fraud. And it's going to take an administration to recognize that we've all been getting screwed by this loophole. Shouldn't exist. Ads should be random, and they should have to fight for competition. They should have to just put an ad there and expect, well, it's going to do well or it's not. That's called healthy competition, not stealing all our data so that they know exactly who's watching and they can manipulate it all. Well, that's exactly why all this is happening. Rich people are doing this, and they're controlling your companies. Simply change it. It's that simple. How do you not fucking do that? Just, I do not understand when all these administrations come in here and they claim to be businessmen and shit like that. I mean, Jesus Christ, this guy went bankrupt 6-7 times with his casinos. If he don't even know how to make fucking money off casinos, and he's got to declare bankruptcy 6-7 times with a fucking casino? Christ. I mean, that's like the epitome, the absolute fucking 100%. Yes, it's the same amount, different numbers. Absolute 100% epitome of fraud ripping somebody off. It's already a fucking casino. You're already taking advantage of somebody's addiction. It's gambling. You don't offer them anything. They come in, hand you money, and sometimes blatantly just lose it all. And sometimes they gamble it all, like way more than they should, because they're addicted. And then you feed them alcohol in the hopes that free alcohol gets them to. So look, the fact that again, this guy literally declared bankruptcy off the easiest fucking business to make money on 6-7 times is beyond me. And the reason why nobody understands the casino business, and quite frankly, you shouldn't, and doesn't understand like why this is so big, because most people can't. It is incredibly expensive and ridiculously, like, you have to go through so many legal loopholes to try to get the permits and zoning and all that you need for gambling. I mean, it's illegal. And for good reason. So, like, this is the point. Rich people can go around the fact that gambling's illegal. It's not really that legal. It's really not. Like, we've just determined that this is a bad fucking thing. And I agree with that. And so you've got to recognize that, like, the fact that this guy couldn't even make money off of something that is inherently fraud and a scam to rip people off in the first place. You need to recognize that this asshole steals money from people. He just stole money from the U.S. government, lost it, and just to pay off his people that he owed, the January 6th rioters. I mean, he's paying them like $10 million a pop, right? Are you kidding me? You're paying terrorists, because that's what they are. I mean, they just attacked people. They're terrorists. So you're paying terrorists. What? They unalived some cops. They really, really censor my stuff when I say that. It's interesting, isn't it? Especially considering the fact that a lot of people, it was unreported, a lot of people didn't know about it, and then I was talking about it. Not only was I talking about it, but I actually proved it. I used proof. that a lot of people didn't know existed. And yep. This told them that I can investigate something. They really started putting the hammer on this channel. So if Biden isn't old, or I'm sorry, if Trump isn't old and Trump isn't like, you know, decrepit and dying and shit, why did he care? Why does he care so much about when people talk about his age and bitch about it? Yet Biden, you didn't hear Biden having late night tirades on Twitter because people were complaining about his age and stuff. Nope. Nope, he just maintained respect for the office. Did what he would normally do. Again, Trump, listen, I'm in a position that I'm in because I am not the president of the United States. Okay? I can't sit here and hide behind the largest military on the planet and threaten people with the FBI and have the CIA out of my pocket. Okay? That's Donald Trump. And very consistently I see, interestingly enough, what seems to be disinformation on the internet to confuse people in other countries, that he's not the president. That is very strange. Why would other countries want their people to not think Donald Trump is president? Why do you think that is? Why do you think they're attacking me? Because I'm bitching about Donald Trump and everybody's watching. Because the government's lying to them and telling them Donald Trump's not president. But why do you think they're doing that? Because Donald Trump's the dictator. He's the Putin. He's the one scaring the shit out of the rest of the world because he is not a very nice man. You see my bit rate there? That is an attack on my system. Look at this. Look. My system is under attack. It's all getting slow. Look, it's all slowing down. Look. This browser window is under attack. Look, right here it is. I can't even look. My mouse is like, it's not even, look, it's all slowing down. Look. Yeah. So they're attacking this browser window now, just like they normally do for the games. Yeah. Look how it's all slow. Yeah, they're trying to crash the, do you remember when they crashed the network driver? When I was playing Borderlands 3? They're just trying to do that again. That's why they wanted me to load this on this screen, and they started crashing it and breaking it on that one, because they wanted to do this to this. That's why, like, whenever I load it over here, you see like massive amounts of, like, you know, confetti and shit. Because, you know, it's them being irritated that I was smart enough to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that tells me what I need to know about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. There it is. All right. So, hold on. Give me a sec here. So there we go. As you can see, totally fine. Follows my mouse like it normally does. It's not slow as shit. So that's what I was saying. Like, they're actually causing the bitrate shift by like maxing my GPU. Like what the fuck? Like that's my point. Like, it wasn't actually being caused. They were trying to make it get caused, but for a different reason. So if somebody's poking and prodding around, they just see that. That's the point. So again, all this is literally the Trump administration attacking me. And again, like, there are foreign actors joining in for sure, because there's foreign MAGA, we know that, but they're all literally, like, you know, again, scammers, obviously, because that's what he is. So there's that again. Yep. So there's 25. There's 25. Wow, that's a significant jump. Okay. Wow, that is a whole freaking 12 more. That is literally 12 freaking views just gone right there. That they're taking off from 25 down to 30. Like literally, like, you see this? Look at this. It's even more now. So that's my point, and then they fix it so that YouTube doesn't see it when they actually process it. And then, like, this is the point. And then, you know, like, so all right, so for example, if I show you this, hang on here. You guys know all these views have been coming off, and I have been showing you examples of that. I've been showing you evidence of the removal and stuff and keeping you updated. So let's take a look at something really quick. Give me a sec, and I'll put it on the screen here. Give me a second. There. Give me a second. That's not the one I wanted. That's the one I wanted. Oh, I guess not that one. Hold on. So yeah, all right. So you guys know how I've shown you view removal before, and I've shown you like lots of views coming off. Look, this is how you know they're trying to scam it to not look like much and for you not to notice. The point is when it's this little, the point is they're scamming it to that little amount so you don't know how much it is. Because if there's even a little bit gone and it doesn't add up, the point is how do you know? So again, we've gone through this before, but I want to show you this because this is pretty weird. So as you can see here, it says for this stream, we finished this stream with 101 views, okay? 101, okay? 101. Now, again, they removed some. They did. They just literally took some off, even though they shouldn't have. And then, now, 2 days later, the stream that I'm talking about, as you can see here, only has one more view than that. Yep. And you guys know the Elden Ring streams, like that's what people, you guys know that's what people watch. I was going to be getting into the thousands with that, just like I was with Last Epoch, just like Perry the Pig was with Last Epoch. I called this out before. That's actually how we know each other, because he was playing the same time I was, and we were sort of, and this scammer was following us around, and he hacked Last Epoch and caused some problems for us. I guarantee you he was in the chat and all that. But that was really when I noticed it. And if you remember, we called it out where like I even had this stream that was getting closer to 1,000. And we saw as it started slowly climbing up to 1,000, it was like 996, 997, 996, 995, 994. I was like, wait a second. People are watching this and somebody's, so that was what I called out, and I put, as soon as I showed evidence of that, this asshole got really scared and like added them all back really fast, and it like went way up over 1,000. And again, as he just became more justified under Trump, showing everybody that he's just going to allow scammers to do whatever the fuck they want, he started increasing the, just following that and following everything and just attacking and scamming around that, around following that around. And again, conveniently, the two of us who we see this happen with views, I definitively know he had more views on his Last Epoch streams than you can see now on the, I know he did. I know he did. And just like with mine, where again, huge amounts of views seem to have halted, not come off, with certain ones, but just stopped and halted, where they just, it is what it is now, and they stopped it. So that's why it's really weird when you see this. And then conveniently, the one where I talk about Asmongold, that has 189 views, and there's nothing weird going on with that one. That almost seems kind of normal. Where again, they promote the one where it would almost seem hateful. Like I'm clearly calling out the fact that he had misinformation. And then, it would, there's some stuff we talked about in there that would frame it a certain way. And then conveniently, there's not any, like that has a lot less weirdness surrounding it. So you get what I'm saying? Um, and then again, this you guys remember the after hours stream was scammed all night until I got on that morning and started yelling in the mic about how they were scamming it. And remember, the response and reaction was they promoted the stream. It was like YouTube featured, I think, even. And so like something did this. Where again, the second, again, this stream's going for 12 hours, just under 12 hours. And like literally the whole stream, they're trying to claim nobody's supposedly watching. It's doing that thing where I told you it's flatlining, goes up for a split second, it goes up to 2 and drops down. And then the very second that we start raging out in the morning about all the bullshit, then all these viewers. So and this is what we see. We see this very consistently, and I've pointed out the fact that these were really good uploads. Sort of like when I first beat Elden Ring here, and for some reason, me beating Elden Ring has 37 views. No, again, when I do an upload, it's much easier for them to halt the view progress to whatever the fuck they want. They just decide beforehand. And I have evidence that I saved screenshots, by the way. Let me show you this. So when I first did my upload for this, we talked about how this happened a while back. If you guys remember, I did my upload for this. Well, we talked about this a while back, but here, let me do this really quick. Where is that? I gotta find it. I don't have it here. I thought I had it here. Hold on. Wait, maybe I have it here. Hold on. Oh, wait. I might have it. Hold on. No. Is it that? Hold on. No, that's not it. Give me a sec. What the heck? I thought I had this ready to go. I gotta find it, guys. So I'll just tell you what happened. I really thought I had this ready to go. So I swear to God, they literally did this again. This is insane, right? I know I told you this already, but it started happening again. Like literally YouTube, and it's blatantly YouTube. Like I mean, like they have scammers following around the people that are reviewing things. Like that's all that's happening. So I've tried to tell them this before. but like they don't listen. And so like all that happened was um there was something that got scammed, and so I put in the report, and then conveniently as soon as I put that report in, I released this video, and then sure enough, right as I'm working on the video and I'm looking at it and stuff like that, I literally am watching as, again, I haven't released it to you guys yet. It's a private video. I'm literally watching as the views go up. So like YouTube's just like reviewing this stuff, and their own system is counting it, and it shouldn't be. And then again, these scammers are just following them around, and that's why I know that, because over and over and over I told them this is what was happening. I told them I'm just putting in a report and nobody does anything. So it's very clear this scammer follows that report and just screws it up more and follows you into the thing and tricks you because you are hacked. You're scammed. You're doing this on your home network because you're an idiot. And so this is the point. YouTube's not YouTube anymore. It's some dumbass running it out of his fucking house off his little laptop. That's why. I literally just watched a like come off the stream again as soon as I said that. And the laugh emoji is just being spammed as fast as possible. Yep, anybody believes that normal adult behavior is that. So the point is, this was the private views was them, and they knew it. And I already told you guys that the scammer was following them in and causing that problem. That's the point. Where that scammer knows the report, knows everything about it, is following, and this is an issue. A really big one. Because they're getting to those people that are supposed to be reviewing it. Instead of them reviewing it, this person is manipulating them. That's the point. This is the cancel rhythm. So hence why YouTube's canceling everything, and it seems like, this or that and the other. No. Again, they're manipulating people. And then YouTube's just gonna blame it on the automation. They're gonna be like, oh, we don't. It's all automated. We don't fucking know. It's an excuse. They know. They're just dumb. Do you remember the one time when somebody's like in my chat and they're like, thanks for explaining it? What? Watch YouTube? I don't. What? Okay, so here's what needs to happen. You ready? You should you have to actually do something about this. And it doesn't look like a bunch of retards that vote for Donald Trump that, again, don't know a goddamn thing about anything. They just pick the guy that looks the strongest in anything out of the mix of the batch. Yeah. That's what happens. I guarantee you, if running against Donald Trump they would have had some dude with a neck tattoo, and you know, he dresses the same, says similar stuff, but again, he's competent, like seemingly competent and can talk and stuff. He would have beat Trump hands down any day of the week, just because he's got this gigantic fucking neck tattoo. I swear to God. People are this dumb. So since people do this and they don't understand the modern like way things work, like everything's being spied on. It's like as simple as you having a conversation, just like I've told you, like, you know, if people are sitting there talking about what they think is going on with my stream versus what I'm telling you, all the scammer is going to do then is know sort of exactly, you know, what you're saying, and then get that to happen because they know exactly what you're saying. That's it. It's that simple. And you know, this, you just apply this to basically all the stuff that I've said about all these scams. Where that's the point, to manipulate the general public to cancel whatever the next thing is. So there's no next thing, especially if it's a white American, especially then. So again, I did not sign up for all those things. That is a scam. Somebody's doing that. And it's very suspicious, again, that it's all just like a bunch of, like, you know, organizations, like, you know, government stuff, Social Security, Coast Guard, U.S. Border and Customs stuff. Like, what? FEMA? So I just I feel like, you know, again, it should be pretty obvious that you don't continue down a path where the current guy is absolutely nobody that anybody would even want to be around for 5 seconds, let alone want to lead or run anything. Okay? I mean, what I saw like this picture of the White House recently, and then, like, there's this huge thing like behind it that they're building, and like, what are they even doing? Is Kid Rock gonna like set up permanent residence? You know, it's gonna be like a new, you know, like it. Why is it that when celebrities, music, you know, like musicians, all this, like, people reject Donald Trump? Why is it that, like, he then goes like and doubles down and shows you what a loser he is? Why does he do that? Like, he even doubles down even more, and he's like, well, you know what? You know what? We're gonna show the world just how much weight we can pull. Yep. Yep. We're gonna have our own halftime show. Uh-huh. Yeah. And and Kid Rock. So, some amateur's gonna get up there, drunk as fuck, and lip sync to his own songs. No musicians, by the way. Just a system, because I don't think any musicians want anything to fucking do with them anymore. Yeah, that's the reality. And then ultimately, you know, you're gonna get something more entertaining. I mean, for Christ's sake, I'll be willing to bet more people would want to watch me, air guitar than they would. I swear to God, I'll bet you more people would be entertained by watching yours truly air guitar rather than watch Kid Rock lip sync to his own fucking songs. Do you know why? Because he's not even trying. He just gets up there and thinks, boy, they're gonna love this because I'm Kid Rock. That's terrible. That's like the opposite of the message. That's why you reject that, asswipe. Like that's why we accept these vocalists that over the years they might not sound so good and they're older now, but they're awesome. We love them. They're still them. And they probably amount to a lot more than their voice. That guy? That fucking guy? Dude, I sit here in the middle of a stream and sing in front of you. I ain't afraid. What the hell is he so afraid of? And he's lip syncing to his own song. I just not even a it's not like he's backtracking and singing over it. No, like just flat out full on. By the way, backtracking is typically done when they're taping, just to let you guys know. Like that's why you guys know that, right? It is really hard to mic properly. So they backtrack it. It's that simple. The artists that manage to mic properly without backtracking, oh my God, you should bow down. It should be like, Wayne's World, oh, we're not worthy. We're not, like sincerely. That takes a lot of fucking effort, a lot of work goes into that. You have no idea. You have no idea. I You really cannot appreciate it. You really can't. It is such a pain in the ass. You cannot appreciate that. It's the only thing I can relate it to is if the guitarists out there know what it's like to find a guitar tone and then you forget, like it's lost, you don't record it properly or something like that, and you're trying to figure, like, redo it, and it's just it's never quite. That's the only thing I can sort of relate it to is, like, you know, you line that shit up, you get it all set up right, you know, and then the boss man comes out and he sings louder than you or something like that, and just God damn it. All right. All right. All right. It's not done. My fault. You know, you really you cannot appreciate. That's what a backtrack's for. It's not for them to hide their vocals. In fact, the artist can't stand this, and this is why they don't do it that often. They want you to hear them. And it just sounds really fake when they're doing that. So they really don't want it. They really, really do not. That's why I like the mics, like more recently, the people that have just been kind of getting the thing that doubles the voice on the mic. Much better. Much better. Way, way better. Cause it's just it's better just to get that mixing in there when you're recording rather than trying to do that after the fact. Nightmare. That's the miking nightmare. Cause it's gonna sound great, but then you're gonna record it and be like, all I'm hearing is this one person in the front row going, yeah. Cause the sound's just like, that's how it works, man. So anyway, I know that deserved losing a like. We're at 5, now we're at 4. I know. So anyway, your dad is out there already. We've talked about this plenty of times before. That's why all this happens, like the data breaches and stuff like that. So it's just a matter of them leaking enough that they have everything, and that's again what this scammer here was trying to do. And is still trying to do. He's facilitating anybody out. He's again facilitating that. And then simultaneously, you should be able to see in real time just how many scammers are on this platform and bots sifting for that information specifically. It's called data mining. So we should be, kind of heading into a future that, like I said earlier, we reject completely the fact that anybody's allowed to collect our data to try to sell us things. It's absurd. Again, when you go to a dealership and stuff like that, didn't you start recognizing it's sort of like a little bit scam when they try to get all kinds of personal information from you and stuff like that? when you're just interested and you're just looking and stuff, and then they're really invasive and really, and then you're like, whoa, 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 and then you leave and stuff. Like, this is what you have to realize. This is what everybody is doing, except just everything. Everything's doing it. Walmart follows you around their store, tracks your purchases. I just talked to you guys about how regularly stores are requiring people now to give them, I'm not making this up. When you shop online, if you do an order online and then you then go pick it up in the store, you are, I swear to God, this is happening, and this happened to me. They are literally storing your ID. And then all this is happening around that too. And this is incredibly malicious. They're actually like, and then right on the receipt it'll say your name, your address, your just right on the receipt. So anybody just sees this at the store. So regular old Joe Schmo just knows your address and can harass you. Name, address, just all these people all the time regularly know your name, address, just because you placed an order at that store. That's disgusting. I can't believe that. You have no right to that information. And then you would force us to do that just because we placed an order? You can't, you take away the checkout as guest function, specifically forcing people to make an account just to place an order, and then this requires that data. And then we see similar things. I swear to God, when I logged into Borderlands 4, it required personal identifiable information. And when I put wrong information, it went, no, no, no. Nope. We know. You got to put the right shit in here. I swear to God. What the fuck? And then when I'm playing Borderlands 3, my GPU is oh, okay. All right. All right. Oh, okay. Interesting. Very fascinating. Fascinating stuff. Wow, they are really breaking the search feature on my channel, aren't they? Boy. Look at this. I've played Borderlands 3 plenty of times. And if I type Borderlands 3 like nothing, that's what comes up. My playlists. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's on purpose. That's a scam. 'Cause that should just come up. That's absurd. Why is it only the playlists? So that tells me they're breaking Borderlands 3 from being searched. Yeah, because this one works just fine. You can see with Hitman 3, that works just fine. a lot of these views got halted and views got removed too. Like this one has like 438 views, and it's almost a 4-hour stream. I just halted. Just like I really did notice it around here too, like with when my thumbnails started getting really good and people were really watching. That's when they started doing it. See 111. I mean, just the reality of that, just halting to that at that number. It just seems a little convenient. 76. So I did an escalation stream, particularly difficult one, I think, and it just halts in views at 76. So yeah, like again, I did tell you guys, if you remember, on the Borderlands 3 stream, you can find Borderlands 3 across my channel. We played it plenty of times. So I think that was probably so that you guys couldn't search it and find it. That's probably what that was for. Because there should be no reason why you can't find that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't type it wrong. Nah. Nah. Like, look. I literally just did this again. Look. Right here it is. All that. Right there it is. So, like, I mean, are you kidding me? Here, let's see if I just typed it wrong. I don't think I did, though. I was looking at that, and I was pretty sure I didn't. It is really small on here, though. That's part of the issue. Oh, it's not wrong. Yeah, I typed it exactly the same way. Yeah, that's not wrong. I typed it exactly the same way. Wow. Trash. What the heck? Trash. So yeah, like that shows YouTube's trash. It shows it right then and there. I typed Borderlands 3 and it didn't fucking search it. Well, on the stream where they broke this game, and I told you guys you can see plenty of times we played Borderlands 3 and it worked just fine. They were trying to break it. Interesting, isn't it? And then conveniently the game that I played with that very scammy content creator too. Conveniently. So interesting, isn't it? So here's an 8-hour stream that I did where they halted the views at 69. Is this an up? Yeah, that's an upload. So I guess I could do that, but this is a live stream.
Flag's great. I love his responses.
So this is a live stream, and as you can see, I'm waiting for the chat to show up just to close it. Again, as you can see, I didn't have the bitrate on the screen because the bitrate wasn't shifting around so fucking much every damn stream that I felt like I needed to do that. And this was 2 years ago. So again, the bitrate's not on the screen. You can see we're playing. We played for 8 hours. And again, it's Borderlands 3. You can clearly see runs just fine. It looks really good, actually. And again, at no point, wow, look at the chat. Remember when I had chat? Remember that? Remember that? Yeah. Remember that? And then they started acting like douchebags. Remember that? So my point is that this runs just fine. And I didn't have to have the bitrate on the fucking screen to prove that people were screwing around with my streams. So the point is, why did Borderlands 3 all of a sudden start having that problem in the middle of my stream on a, again, this is all the old, this is different hardware. This was back on the this was like the fucking I don't even fucking remember. It was an old ass fucking, again, that this is before, long before, I think it was the 3060 or something. That this was before the 5 series. Totally fine. Windows 10. Ran fine for 8 hours. Yep. Here, we'll skip ahead. Ran fine for 8 hours. Oh, wow, look at that. Look, it's still going. Oh, wow. Imagine that. Wow. Wow. Yep. Wow. Wow, ran just fine. I wonder if some jackass is messing up games that they know that my entire community used to watch and turning them against me on purpose. Like I told them this scammer was doing. Yeah. Again, 8 hours, ran totally fine. Yet the other night, literally just sitting there after proving the game ran fine for basically about an hour and a half, just, all the scams all the fucking time. And was blatantly happening again to the browser window just to see if they could make it happen. Because that's all they're doing. It's got nothing to do with whether I use my graphics or not at this point. It's literally just them screwing with the streaming software. I've already told you guys this is unupdate scams. They're backwards updating things. So it runs totally fine. See, that was before I beat it. Runs totally fine. Okay. This was also the game, if you remember, a lot of people were watching. We were about to beat a boss, and then the stream abruptly ended. So, Borderlands 3, if you remember, and I was playing, as you can see here, I was really working at this boss. It was really hard. And again, as you can see, and I remember this too, YouTube hacked this to end the stream before a boss win. And if you remember, that's exactly what happened. Like, the boss was acting really weird, almost more tanky than normal, and I was like, screw it. And I just dealt with it and beat the boss. And then again, it was almost like they didn't want that to happen. They were trying to really make sure that I was going to die or something instead of beating the boss. And so since it was obvious that I was going to beat the boss anyway, they abruptly ended the stream. That's literally what happened. And then I got back on stream and proved it, because I had already beaten the boss. But like the moment I was about to beat the boss, they abruptly ended the stream. And that's what happens here. This is the boss. And again, if you're watching and stuff like that, of course you'd want to see that. So like, that's the point. They wanted to piss off my viewers into thinking I abruptly ended the stream and probably died or something and just ended it and maybe like edited it or something like that. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's fucking retarded. And not only that, I proved it. I got back on the stream and I just had the game paused and then beat the boss. So that's why they did this in Borderlands 3. If you remember, I paused the game for a while, and it was on the pause screen they got this to happen. They wanted to be able to fuck up the game, and then, yep, there it is. As soon as I was saying this stuff, they're pushing data through. They wanted to fuck up the game right then and there so that they know how to do that in the future, like you see here, so that way that never happens again. Just again to further the concept that I get nervous at bosses or something stupid like that, because this is the stuff we've seen the scammer type in chat when we're like, playing Elden Ring or something like that, and blatantly the Elden Ring boss isn't acting normal either. I mean, this shit's been going on again since all this stuff. We've talked about this crap. So this is what happens here, where you can clearly see I'm struggling. I'm really working at this. And man, this is cool, right? Like, yeah, I'm actually doing pretty good staying alive. That's actually pretty impressive. So almost like the thing that was happening when I was playing, where I'm just constantly dying, is the scam they worked on too, where I clearly had a really good build here. I was clearly a tank. I could clearly just hang in there, and they, clearly I'm going against a boss, and that's not happening. You're not even seeing that. So why is that happening when I'm playing against normal mobs on like a normal difficulty? And why was that happening all throughout the stream? And then why were they like spamming the laugh emoji right when I said, oh yeah, Borderlands just dying all the time? Why did they do that? Well, again, because that's the point, is that's not what the thing is. That's not the case. And then you can clearly see that here, where it's the same character. This is just the same character I was playing. This is the same guy. But, somehow as I went up in level, my character just got less tankier somehow. No, again, and if I were coming on the stream today, if the PSYOP was working, as I told you, I would come on here with full intent to yell at Asmongold and think it was him. Because, again, he is the tank in the gaming industry. And then conveniently also the one, if that I've talked about positively before and stuff like that. And so like you get what I'm saying, where it's very clear that I follow a similar you know, sort of like, you know, I sort of do my own thing, kind of like he does, and it works. And this is them sort of attacking that, but then also trying to pit that audience against me all at the same time. You know, again, knowing these strings that they would have to pull on to do those things, because people are this way. They don't see things for what they are. They will momentarily jump on board with exactly what they are based to think. So you can clearly see how this is something you want to see, right? After putting all this work into it, obviously you're going to be like, oh man, it'd be crazy if he actually gets this. And I had to jump up to the top, right? I think so. So I don't know. I don't know. Can I jump up to the top? Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. But you know, again, that's what happened. And it's pretty sad when I'm wondering about a different time this happened that I can recall. You know, like that's the point. Like it's just been so much that it's like, come on. You know, if I know something works, I know something works. That's the same gun too. Remember? This is the same gun. The dude's level 51. See, he's level 51. Those are the mobs that I was shooting at. Was level 51s. It was. So obviously you're going to want to see this. And yeah, it cuts right before. So what I did was, again, I got back on stream. I think I got his health down a bunch and then got back on stream. Because I thought it would come back. You know what I mean? I was just like keeping an eye on it. And then it just ended. And I'm like, oh, well, all right. What a pain in the ass. So I got back on stream, obviously. It's the vertical one, I think. Here. Yep, it's the vertical one. And then they suppressed it. 43 views.
YouTube really seems to take advantage of its content creators.
So yeah, this is me talking about what had just happened. So if you can see here, this is me getting back on stream after that, talking about what happened. Did I beat him after getting on stream? Yeah, see, he has got a little bit of health left. See that? So I did end up doing it on stream, but yeah, that's what happened. I had lowered his health by a good bit and then just sort of paused it. So that's what they figured I did. And I actually recorded my screen here and the actual game to again sort of show you evidence exactly of what was going on. Here's my screen, here's the game, you know. And so that was me explaining it a little bit, and then I just unpaused it and finished the boss. There it is.
And that's why they ended the stream. We're about to get 2 really hard achievements, right?
Right, so like it's all of the above, you know. I mean, like you know, that's just a bonus, obviously. So you know, it obviously you know, it abruptly ends right then, and that again, this is the dynamic we've continued to talk about. It follows us through we talked about concert rate on and the final boss in Elden Ring being like really strangely you know, be even beyond the normal, you know, like just all of the heart attacks spammed all the time, you know, and that while that can happen once in a while, I'm talking about every time I walk in there, you know. And the very second that I say that, well, then it stops. Just that time. So, you know, just the point is, you know, obviously that's not, you know, how things work in life. So then we kept playing,
Basically, they're continuing to do things.
and we kept
that
playing,
if we
and I'm sure I was just talking about all that shit that was going on, and then, you know, here we are playing still. I think that's actually another boss there too. So yeah. So I think I even got another boss in this one. So that's probably why they were trying to suppress it, because I beat even another boss in this one, and they just suppressed it and didn't want you to realize that, probably. Yeah. And you see how smooth it is on my screen too. Like, that's the point. So like, this is what I keep trying to tell you guys, and then as I do these recordings now, they're trying to like mess up the thing I'm recording the screen with and stuff like that, and like get that to stutter around. You saw that recently when we were dealing with the recent stuff that we were dealing with. You saw that. Well, this is what I see. I always see it this smooth, and then like again, they're just trying to fuck with PCs. They want to destroy PC gaming. Like, they really, really wanted to, and so that's my point. Like, that's why it's like, you know, like, again, I know, and again, way lesser hardware than now. Like, it should run better now. It's Borderlands 3. Okay? So it just doesn't, none of that makes any sense to say anything else. All that adds up to, you know, again, just canceling the PC gaming market, where on newer hardware, this stuff runs worse. Again, with PC gaming, it's software. You know, again, you know, all the hardware companies aren't trash. Like, you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. Yeah, look at that. Fine. So, you know, you get what I'm saying. Interference. And you know, we got absolutely you know, no views. It's completely scammed. And then, you know, this one, like, that's from me, just because, again, I'm confirming it does work. It's like, when I see it locked at 0, it's like, well, you know, like, I need to confirm, you know, like, that's ridiculous. Where it's just nonstop, this bullshit thing where conveniently when all this is happening, you know, all these, you know, just like you see in the middle of the stream when I would say something that goes against, you know, that makes the that shows the scam, you know, all conveniently right then they're subtracting likes. Yeah, okay. Come on, man. Who are you trying to fool? I'd be willing to bet that a good number of people that like a stream are liking it after they've confirmed they already like it, and a lot of times they're leaving the stream. They're done with it for now. And then he's trying to sit in here and pretend like, oh yeah, all these different people. No, it started with hundreds of likes all at the same time, like instantly, and then he would remove all those hundreds all at the same time too. And it was obvious. I'm like, you just removed and liked the stream with more likes that are even concurrent in the stream. So like, it was just me pointing out all the obvious, ridiculous nonsense of what this scammer was doing, and then him adjusting. And then nobody at YouTube doing anything, as they are fully aware of this person, as I showed you. And you know, they just continue, you know, massive creating spam accounts and, you know, doing all the shit with the email that I showed you earlier. You know, again, that's incredibly malicious. What the hell? So, I have to take care of some stuff. So, thanks for watching. But yeah, it's they're selling your data, and it's really bad. Obviously, that makes them look very bad. You know, again, it's all stuff where they would be spying on the information in government organizations. Again, Social Security, FEMA, Coast Guard. They're just using my credentials to trick the systems into thinking it's me, but really it's the scammer stealing all that information and using it to better Russia or China or, again, any of these other countries that would be against the United States, because obviously they are going to use that data to attack you. So you see this, you see the ridiculous confetti button being spammed. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you tried to watch, you just realize that a lot of what the views that you see, they're not real, it's scams. So I appreciate you trying to watch regardless. And nobody should be confirming people's data. Shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be moving it around. It should all go away. All for the sake of selling you things. Nope. Shouldn't be working that way. You need to just run your ads and hope that it reaches the audience that you want it to reach. That's it. You are not to collect people's data. This is inherently illegal. And again, they somehow have this legal loophole where so many of these companies, this is how they get away with advertising to you. You give them your data, and then they track your information and show you ads based on your personal private information. So, you know, these companies all know exactly when you buy a bunch of shit from this company or this company or this company, and they're trying to compete with each other over your data. So, again, when these ads are so malicious that even scammers can sit here and attach like malware to them, that's how much data we're tracking, we're talking about. You got to recognize when it needs to go away. This is the thing that needs to go away. It needs to be gone. Period. Thanks.